Well, it's noon here in Bethesda, Maryland on Thursday, December 1st, and this is news that you can use from YAA with your hosts, Zach and Ray. And, well, welcome to December, Hanson.
Indeed, Pops. All right, title of today's show, we're going to kick things off with, it is officially the best time of 2022 to buy a car. We've been talking about it for months and months and months. The end of the year is the best time to buy a car. So let's give a rundown of market conditions, the situation, everything like that. Also, I just realized the light I got to turn on. So I'm going to scoot over there and do that in a second. But Pops, we're going to kick things. No, don't reach. Don't reach.
You want me to scoot?
No. I don't want you to get hurt.
I won't get hurt.
Don't get hurt. I'll do it.
I'll be right back.
Dad, don't get hurt.
No, I'm not going to get hurt.
Be careful.
Oh, my God. I might get electrocuted, but I'm not going to get hurt.
I'm about to look so bright. Thank you, Pops. Thank you. All right.
Oh, look at that.
We are going to kick things off, Dad, with it is officially the best time of 2022 to buy a car. We'll start
I think I might have hurt myself.
We're going to start. Now you're banging. Stop. What are you, Dad? Stop.
There we go.
And then we're going to move our way into November sales data. Some interesting storylines that have come out of November sales data, particularly around fleet sales that I want to dig into. And we have a really, you've got to be kidding me, that I think is worth sticking around for. But Pops, let's kick things off.
Well, then I'll stick around.
It's December 1st.
It is.
Officially the best time of the year to buy a vehicle, isn't it?
It is. And we'll be rapidly approaching the best week of the year to buy a car, which is the week between Christmas and New Year's. But as I believe I mentioned the other day, there's basically 3 segments to December as to how December works in the car business. And the first 15 days of the month can be somewhat busy. And then from like the 16th to the 24th, there's not a whole lot going on other than the people that had already agreed to buy a car that you need to put that red bow on because it's a Christmas gift. And then the last week of the year, from December 26th through the 31st of December, it is the number 1 busiest selling week of the year at dealerships. So December typically has the highest manufacturer to consumer incentives, the highest manufacturer to dealer incentives. There's a sense of urgency in the month of December to close the year strongly. So it's just a great time, A, to be in the car business, and B, to be a customer looking to buy a car.
Pops, we got Valde at the local dealership as they're watching. Love to see that happen. All right, Dad, so here's the deal.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Incentives. We haven't done the research yet. Justin will be updating the page back on joinyaa.com. We keep track of incentives each month, but incentives should come out today, right? That's when they should come out from the manufacturers.
Absolutely. December 1st is when the December incentives will come out. They should be the strongest that we've seen so far this year.
Yeah, and so we anticipate, today, tomorrow, over the next few days, you'll start to see advertising spend around these December incentives. Mm-hmm. And again, we'll update the page back on joinyaa.com as well. The thing that I do want to turn our attention to, Dad, we had the monthly sales data come out, and they talk about incentives in this report. There's some good news and some bad news. I'm going to jump to the incentive spend at the bottom first. Give me a second. This was in November.
Yes.
The average incentive per new vehicle in November was expected to reach $1,009, which is up from where it had been. It had been sub $1,000 a couple months ago, but that's down year over year from $1,551. We expect that when the data comes out in January for December, the incentive amount will be more than $1,009.
Absolutely. And obviously incentives were down about a third across the industry in the month of November. But I believe that we will see incentives move upward, and they'll be better positioned to incentivize customers to come in and take advantage of year-end savings.
Yeah, we've got here from JC, just reserved a new Mazda CX-5, $304 off MSRP and 2.9% interest for 36 months. Mazda's been aggressive, as have other automakers, on the interest rate side of things, and we expect
I think because so many people, 86% of those who buy cars are payment buyers, are more concerned with what their monthly payment is. I think because of that, we will see more and more of the manufacturers going to subvented or lowered interest rates as their incentive to get people to come in and buy a car.
Makes a lot of sense. It really does. All right, let's look at some of the data, Dad, from the November sales. And there's some winners and there's some losers. And I think this will implicate where we see higher inventory levels in December.
Mhm.
Data is just coming out today. Toyota,
Yes.
Hyundai, Kia, Mazda, U.S. sales surge in November. Deliveries jumped 10% at Toyota, 43% at Hyundai, 25% at Kia, and 31% at Mazda.
Do you know how that happens?
You have inventory.
Bingo.
All right, Dad. So let's dig into it a little bit. Yeah, let's dig into the numbers here.
Yes.
Hyundai up 38.4%. That's year over year for November. Wow. That's huge.
Yes.
Hyundai Kia up 32% year over year. Mazda, there you go. All right, but let's scroll down because there's some interesting information the further we get down on the page. Yep, here it is right here.
Okay.
Hyundai said its inventory has more than doubled from a year ago to
Hmm.
39,898 vehicles at the end of November. That's up from 31,529 a month earlier and 17,096 in November of 2021. So I want to come to a comment that came here in the chat, Dad, which is from Mark. Was at the dealer yesterday for a recall. Additional dealer markup is alive and well in Florida. It needs to be going away because inventory levels cannot be creeping. I mean, inventory levels when you had 17,000 Hyundais in stock.
That's one thing.
One thing to try and justify, not that we agree with additional dealer markups, but you can't really argue too much with supply and demand. Those dealers took advantage of a situation.
Yes.
That's fine. We understand it. We look for the dealers who weren't. When supply is now more than doubled year over year, there's not a justification for additional dealer markups. There's supply again, and that's why
Yes.
you're seeing sales numbers from November look better for the manufacturers.
You know, and I'll say it again, just because a dealership asks for it doesn't mean you have to pay it. It just means they're asking. They're hoping, they're hopeful that you'll come in and you'll just go, yeah, no, I understand. Market's tight, supplies low, demand's high. Yeah, I understand. I have to pay a premium to buy your product. When that might not necessarily be the case today. So they can ask for it. You could flat out refuse to pay it and see how that goes. You can negotiate a lower amount to pay. So it's like I always say in contract law, you can either accept it, reject it, or amend it. So you can either accept that market adjustment and pay it, you can reject it out of hand, or you can amend it by negotiating a different amount.
All right. Now, we talk about on this channel frequently additional dealer markups going away. If you're an educated buyer, you can push back on it. What percentage of new cars last month do you think in November were sold with additional dealer markup above MSRP? We have the data. Everyone take a second here, put some guesses in the chat. Earlier this year, it had been up to 50%, over 50% of new cars sold. I forget which month it was. I'll reference it here in a second. I don't want to pull it up on the screen yet. What do you think it was?
I'm going to guess it's about 25%.
25%. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to see a couple guesses come through in the chat before we go to it. But I think it's important to understand that because you're not, just because you're here, because you are here means you are part of a special group.
Yes.
Okay. Most people are not as informed as we are about these things. We've got guesses ranging from 85% to 3%. All right. Thank you for those guesses.
It's going to, my guess is it's somewhere in between those two numbers.
Here we go. 35%, 25%, 38%, 22% Ford, 30%, 21%, 30%. Gang, it's 41% of cars that were sold in November.
Okay.
Let's read this. U.S. light vehicle deliveries were expected to rise from November 2021 as inventory shortages continued to ease. Good news. Higher interest rates are increasing customers' monthly payments, but dealerships are now selling fewer vehicles above sticker price, 41% in November versus 50% in July.
Wow. So that number's coming down.
That number is going to come down even more.
I was going to say, and that number's coming down even more as we move into the month of December.
Here we go. November results demonstrate that vehicle production is continuing to improve, with available retail inventory exceeding 1 million units for a second consecutive month, and a larger share of manufacturers' production being allocated to fleet customers. We're going to dig into that in a second because that's huge.
Yes, it is.
This is where I think the industry could get tripped up on its feet. This comes from JD Power. Quote, on the retail side, demand continues to exceed supply, as evidenced by continued strength in transaction prices, retailer profits, inventory turn rates, and minimal manufacturer discounting. However, as inventories and interest rates rise, these metrics will show signs, of either moderation or decline. At least they're hitting on the end here, Dad.
Yes.
We have seen prices slowly but surely start to come back down as a result of supply and demand getting more in balance. And obviously, as we have more supply coming on board, which we're going to talk about fleet sales in a second here, fleet sales were up a ton.
Yes.
That means manufacturers are producing cars again. Demand's not going to be there because interest rates are so high. That should drive prices down even more.
It should. And one of the reasons they will produce more vehicles for fleet sales is, their fleet buyers are not as concerned with the rising interest rates as a consumer would be.
All right,
So-
Ted. And on the fleet sale front, let me pull it back up on the screen. We'll read through it. TrueCar said November retail sales were on pace to be roughly even with a year earlier, but that fleet sales were rebounding significantly from the low levels caused by production disruptions in 2020 and 2021. It projected a 68% jump in fleet sales from November 2021.
Well, that's another thing that would bode well for the reduction of used car prices as well, because if used car dealers aren't competing against the major fleet buyers like Hertz, Budget, Avis, all your large rental car companies for 1 or 2 year old low mileage used cars, then the prices of those cars at the wholesale auctions will decline.
Yeah, exactly. And
Which means ultimately the retail price will decline.
And that was an interesting part of yesterday's conversation. If you watch yesterday's video and or listen to the podcast with Brandon from Car Questions Answered, he buys and sells used cars sub $5,000 price point. Those are not the cars that Hertz and Avis and Budget were bidding up at the rental car markets. And he's seen less decline. I mean, declines in prices there, but less significant declines in prices. And we see because of fleet sales coming back, you're seeing less demand.
Yes.
So it's pushing prices back down. All right, I want to pull a few more things up on the screen here from this article because there's lots of interesting tidbits. Inventories, quote, this is from TrueCar. Inventories are on pace for a 4th consecutive month of double-digit increases. Consumers, however, continue to face affordability challenges and higher monthly payments, keeping many on the sidelines. To maintain sales momentum, manufacturers appear to be shifting more to the new supply to non-retail sales.
That would be fleet.
That would be fleet. So, but we're acknowledging 4 months in a row of new car inventories increasing double digits. That is it. That inevitably that means you are going to see incentives come back. I sitting here, Dad, I do not think that incentives will stay. I think it's right now at like 1.5% of the average transaction price is an incentive. Where usually previously pre-pandemic that was like 10% or something crazy like that.
8%.
Okay, incentives are going to come back. I bet you later on this month you might even see some more aggressive pushes from some of the OEMs.
Well, I have seen in my years of doing this, that you could start a month and the incentives are X.
Yep.
And the sales aren't quite what the manufacturer had hoped it would be. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the month, they enhance their incentives to make them bigger in order to spur more customer sales. So it would not surprise me if things start off slowly in December to see the incentives become even stronger by the middle of the month.
All right, and I just pulled it up so we can take a quick peek at it. And again, we're going to update the incentives back on joinyaa.com later this week or beginning of next week. But I just pulled up the worksheet, Dad, for national incentives. Let's just take a quick peek at it. And BMW offering incentive finance rates up to 14.3% on 3 series.
I feel good about that, yeah.
All right, so nothing too crazy happening at BMW. Let's see, Ford. All right, so we still have some 0% financing options on 2022 model year vehicles.
Yes.
And up to $3,000 on the Ford Edge.
Yes.
Wow. That's 2022 new vehicles.
And you've heard me say it before. The reason that there's 0% interest being offered on certain vehicles is, because there's zero interest in those vehicles from the consumers.
Look at these finance incentives from General Motors, Dad. The Buick Enclave, Encore, and Envision 3.9 to 12.8. Yeesh.
Yeah,
that's high. But I guess if you're a tier 3 or something.
Or tier 4, 12.8 probably is going to seem like a good percentage rate.
But I mean, these incentives are not cash when it comes to General Motors. They are all finance incentives.
Yes.
With the exception of our dear friend, the Chevy Bolt.
Well, of course.
The Malibu, there's up to $2,000 there. GMC Acadia. Yeah, but these finance incentives are where you're really seeing
you can see so far that they're investing their monies in the finance side of the incentives. It costs them money to buy down the interest rate through their captive lender.
These interest rates have gone up a lot, though. Like let's think back to, I don't know, 6 months ago, we would have never seen a double-digit interest rate incentive. Like I'm looking above us, Dad. Look at the Audis, the 2022 Audis. Yeah, you can get $10,000 off on your A8, S8, SQ5, SQ5 Sportback, yada yada yada, or I guess just the A8 and the S8.
Yeah.
But the interest rate incentives are 3.9 to 11.8.
Yes.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
It's a lot of interest to be paying on an expensive
On
vehicle.
your $125,000 car.
Nissan's got all the way down to 1.9 and 2.1%. Mercedes doesn't really have any incentives at all. Mazda's down to 1.9 and 2.9%. Look at this. That's some 0% action happening over at Hyundai.
Yeah, on the Tucson plug-in hybrid. And
on a lot of their 2022 models.
Yeah.
So this is what you should expect moving into, and even more on some of their 2023 models. This is what you should expect going into December is you're going to have 0% financing options for tier 1 credit.
Now Dodge, they had cash.
All right, let's look at Dodge. Yeah, they do. $2,500 on the Challenger Charger, $1,500 on the Durango, the Fiat, of course, on the Jeep products, on the Ram products, and 0%.
Yes.
You want to feel good about a deal? Head over to your local Stellantis.
There's only one problem.
And you're buying
You're buying a Stellantis product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which for some isn't a problem.
Well, no. There are people out there that prefer Stellantis.
To each their own, Dad. All right, what do you?
I've heard that somewhere.
What do you think? Do you want to go to the? Yeah, you know what? We're gonna do it. We're gonna jump quickly.
We're gonna do whatever you tell me to do.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
No. Really? You gotta be kidding me.
All right, Pops, I came across this earlier today, and I just love getting your take on things like this. And I think it's an important news story that we cover as well. I did not share this with you in advance solely because I wanted to get your live reaction.
Okay.
This came out yesterday.
Yeah. Hackers
could remotely unlock and start connected cars through Sirius XM vulnerability. Ooh. Vehicle telematics pass through the service allowed researchers with a car's VIN to control key functions of the vehicle.
Oh, very nice. You know, I have Sirius XM in my car.
So a lot of people end up with Sirius XM when they buy a new vehicle, even if they don't want it. It's terribly challenging to actually cancel it and all that fun stuff. But here you go, Dad.
Well, you know, may I say before we get, you can negotiate with them.
Really?
On my previous Mini, my Sirius had expired, and they kept sending me things. We'll sign up for this, and it'll only be X amount per month, and so I got them on the phone and I said, you keep it $5 a month and I'm in.
Yeah.
They go, what? I said, $5 a month and I'll keep paying.
There you go.
I got it to $5 a month. Okay. Because they'd rather get something than lose me completely. Well, then I bought a new car and it came with that.
If it's taxable, it's negotiable, Pops.
I've heard that,
All right, but let's get into the story.
And it was taxable.
It's super interesting.
Yes.
That security researchers,
like
Yugo Labs, Sam Curry, have particular interest in these connected cars. They want to hack them before bad actors find their way in. Remember earlier this year we did a story on a Tesla white hat hacker. Anyway,
kid. It wasn't like a 16 or 17-year-old kid.
All right, there is a vulnerability in Honda's, Acura's, Nissans, and Infiniti vehicles, which allowed him to control them, like unlocking doors and remotely starting the engines. This is from his Twitter account. More car hacking. Earlier this year, we were able to remotely unlock, start, locate, flash, and honk any remotely connected Honda, Nissan, Infiniti, and Acura vehicles completely unauthorized, knowing only the VIN number of the vehicle. He goes on to explain how everything works. Curry was able to locate the vulnerability by targeting a shared telematics platform offered by Sirius XM.
Wow.
In case you weren't aware, Sirius XM, yes, the satellite radio company, offers a connected vehicle service package that automakers can use to provide remote functionality without additional equipment. The data exchanged by the telematics platform simply used the VIN as the method to authorize commands. This meant that if an attacker knew a vehicle's VIN, they could send a specially crafted message to the telematics platform and carry out a myriad of different commands.
Wow.
How does this make you feel, Dad, knowing that vehicles are becoming like your smart fridge or whatever the heck it is? And this is the future of cars.
Well, and it's not hard to get a vehicle's VIN.
No.
All you have to do is look through the windshield.
Yep.
and you can see the VIN plate of a car. So how does it make me feel? It makes me feel a lot more. No, a lot. I'm not very secure. I was insecure as a young man. And now, apparently, as an oldster, because of these vulnerabilities in these cars, I'm more insecure than ever.
Yeah, we talk a lot about quality control issues, chip shortage, parts issues, yada, yada, yada. Will someone just build the simple car? Who knows? But I thought that was super interesting.
Well, there's something to be said for all the wonderful things that computers can do. But there's also something of a concern because there's people out there that are always looking for ways to exploit it.
Yep.
And the more we become computer driven in our lives, the greater the likelihood is that somebody can hack in to all of our computerized operations and well do with us what they will. And it might not be pretty.
Lisa, welcome to your first live stream. Happy to have you here. Want to welcome, Deb. We had well over 1,000 new YAA members join us last month in the month of November. So thank you to everyone who took advantage of our promotions that we were running. And this is going to lead me, actually, Deb. I want to mention it. We actually have an electronics warranty. We don't talk about it that much, but if you go under warranty and you go to electronics warranty, this is a stated coverage specific. This is just for brand new vehicles. It really, if you've got like a 2018 or older, it's all the advanced driving systems, things like that. You can come here. It's loading.
So am I.
All right. Yeah. Well, plug a VIN in. Yeah. There we go. Put a vehicle in here. You can get a quote for specifically like a BMW that has all sorts of crazy tech. You've got, it's relatively brand new, whatever. It's not particularly expensive. And it's specifically electronics.
Gotcha. Of course, you did pick a BMW.
Let's see.
Not particularly
for 84
expensive.
months, unlimited miles.
Wow.
Okay. So anyway, I bring this up because there are more electronics than ever before. You can obviously view the contract entirely online, all that fun stuff. It's more important than ever before to be thinking about the fact that your car truly is a computer on wheels.
Has been.
And speaking of which, Dad, you found this article and I think it's super interesting.
Yes.
Honda will get new hands-off features mid-decade. Honda Sensing 360 will be on all U.S. models by 2030.
Yeah.
So whether you want your car to be connected or not, or whether you actually want to drive it or not, every vehicle seems to be moving in this direction of having more and more self-driving, more and more technology, etc.
And on the Acura side, it'll be called Acura Watch. Now, I'll probably have to buy it because anything that has watch in its name, I need it because I just got another watch case. And I don't know if I could fit an Acura in that watch case, but I could certainly try.
Every automaker is moving in this direction, though. It's for better or worse, there's more technology. And there's more self-driving features, and there's more augmented reality, whatever it is.
No, I get it. And you've heard me rail against it, that, people need to pay attention when they're in a car and, and you shouldn't rely on technology to drive the car for
It's a subscription if you want to drive it manually.
Yeah, probably. And then, I recall seeing comments from people who were really into technology saying, if people should be the ones that control the cars, then well, what makes you think that's so great? We have so many accidents every year. Maybe this would be a way through technology to cut down on some of those accidents. So maybe it could be, because obviously the human brain doesn't compute all the information it sees in a timely enough fashion for people to not get involved in accidents. And perhaps a real computer can do it more quickly. But I just, but what you've flown planes, I mean, jets and, it's all computerized.
Yeah.
The computer's flying the plane till it's time to land the damn thing. So maybe I
like this. You're becoming more and more open-minded.
Well, yeah, sure.
You remember when we were in Las Vegas and we drove in that Aptiv BMW that was
the self-driving car.
We took a Lyft or an Uber.
Self-driving car
with two drivers.
With two drivers, one in the passenger seat and the driver behind the wheel. And I'm thinking, okay, well, this is one way to employ more people in self-driving automobiles.
Sylvia's got a question. Good to see you here, Sylvia. As always, are we seeing more new vehicles on lots, or is it still pre-order market? We're seeing more new vehicles on lots.
Yes, and there's more people who pre-ordered who are not taking delivery of the vehicles once they do arrive.
All right, so we should mention, we're going to wrap here in just a moment. Relatively quick show today, and we'll be back tomorrow with Miss Kimberly Klein for the tip of the week, the finance tip of the week, and also just for Kimberly's Corner in general. Want to let everyone know the team behind the scenes, we have worked, I think, each day 50, 60, 75 car deals. Justice, you're in the chat here, man. And Ashley, I saw you here. I think this is the busiest week we've ever had in terms of members that we've helped with car deals.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think that December might be even busier. So Justice, Ashley, Jerry, Phil, Mario, Kimberly, everyone on that part of the team, thank you for your efforts there. So I just want to let everyone know we're really helping folks out, which feels great. The other thing that I want to mention, Dad, is Deal School 3.0. The team, James, Justin, Dan, Kimberly, they've been working their butts off to get Deal School 3.0 out. That should be out. I'll say middle of next week, and I'm doing a good job expectation setting because I actually think we could have it ready tomorrow. But we're gonna say middle of next week. There are PDFs. There are the courses, there are quizzes. So proud of what we built with Deal School 3.0. And
yes,
Car Edge is very close, guys. Car Edge, you'll start to have access to Car Edge next month. Well, no crap, it's December. You'll have Car Edge in like 3 weeks. We're already starting internal testing. Justice, you found some bugs this morning. Thank you, sir. So everything's moving forward. Really proud of love you guys, man. I really, really do. Everything's moving forward. We're helping people. If you watch the main video channels, we just recorded 2 great ones. You in front of Ray's Chalk Talk at the whiteboard.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so many good things going on. So thank you to everyone for being a part of it. And we had an awesome November. We helped thousands of people. Thank you for being there. So just I'm feeling good ending today, Dad, or middle of today. But like I'm feeling excited.
I'm happy for you. Is there anything else I can do to either get you more excited or to contain your excitement?
I asked you to get on the community forum a bit more, and you've been busting your butt, replying to people, helping people. So thank you. That doesn't go unnoticed. It's been really, really awesome to see.
Yeah.
I have a meeting with Turo next week, Dad.
Yeah.
To talk about getting a discount for YAA Plus members and Car Edge Plus members, so for rental cars. And also, I want to see if there are ways that if you want to list your car on Turo, and we can help you with that, if we can get you some sort of incentive there too. So we're working, guys. We've got the car wash stuff coming soon. So
yeah, because God knows I need to get my car washed.
I know you do. Laura, thanks for being here. I adore Laura. She's great. Dad, we're bringing for Friday night dinner at Dara's house. We're making cake pops tonight. You ever had cake pops?
What are they?
All right, stay tuned. Maybe follow us on Instagram if you want to see the reaction, the reviews of cake pops. We'll do that.
What is a cake pop?
We're gonna find out, man.
Oh my God. I know that Laura's chocolate pumpkin muffin was outstanding.
Yes, it really was.
Yeah.
Valde, if you're here with us, you're going to get a good deal, especially if you use live chat. And live chat in Car Edge is integrated so much better. Anyway, I'm really proud of.
Well, we're happy you're pro.
Yeah, Igor, actually, if you go to shop.joinyaa.com, we'll send you
those listed under the merch category.
They're under the merch category. All right, everyone have a great Thursday. Thank you for being here, and we'll be back
I believe tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, with more news that you can use with the F&I goddess herself, Miss Kimberly Klein, for Kimberly's Corner. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.